What is up, 208? We're hanging. We're here on a Wednesday night. We were there Saturday. Chance is even flying in.
I thought Chance fell off his chair.
Hi, guys. No, I had a stray kitten in my room that I had to immediately.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's get this thing rolling, man. We were here last night. We are here again tonight. We got starts and sits for you, and we got maybe a little bit of news, and then some questions for you. As always, hit that subscribe button. Let's like the channel, right? Turn off that notification bell, and let's get rolling. Fellas, good to see you 2 nights in a row. I feel blessed. Super stoked. Hang out with a couple of good guys.
Love it.
Love it, guys. And let's just talk about football. Man, it's week 3 where all the waiver wires have been picked up from. Hopefully you grabbed some of the guys we talked about last night.
Guys,
and there's been
waiver wire warrior right here.
I did
not miss a single waiver wire guy that I went out for.
Woo.
Just one of them. Now that means
I might have been opposite of you.
Your boy broke. Okay. Sometimes you gotta
spend all that fab.
Spend up. Yeah. But I also burned a very high waiver priority in a league that I needed to burn it in, and it paid off.
Who was that for?
It was for Derek Carr. Yeah. Yep.
It's tough. That's where we're at right now.
It's tough, but it's like it was. And I dropped Matt Stafford for Derek Carr because I had gone with I drafted Jaden Daniels, and I picked up Matt Stafford. I picked up an insurance quarterback, and listen, Derek Carr is balling out right now, so you got to play the hot hand.
Matthew Stafford doesn't have a team right now.
Is there anybody? Yeah, pretty much. Is there anybody that you did not get that you wanted?
No, I got everyone.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, in my guillotine league, I put $300 down on somebody and did not get the bid. 300. I put 30% of my fab. So, Tony Pollard went for $402.
I think it's legit.
And then Lamar went for $319. Which that's the guy I bid on. I needed Lamar because Trevor Lawrence is my quarterback right now.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Pierce, who Chance talked about, was that your guy?
Mm-hmm. That was my guy.
Went for 101. Tank Dell went for 82. Deontay Johnson went for 77. Puka on the IR went for 55. Najee went for 54, and Chance's other guy, Crocodile Still, went for 35, which I think is a pretty good deal.
$35, 35 fab.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not bad. I spent at least 20% of my fab where I had fab on Carson Steele. But again, it goes back to, and in every league, Carson Steele, Kareem Hunt, and Samaje Perine were all picked up in every league I'm in.
Yep.
And did we hear the other?
We did talk about that last night.
Back? No, the other running back that they got.
Who?
They signed Keontae Ingram to the active roster.
Nice. Okay. I had no idea.
So I don't know.
That's why we're watching this channel.
I have no idea what's going to happen. It should be Carson Steele because he looks the best.
Mm-hmm.
And he has some blocking chops, but man, I don't know what they're going to do.
We talked about it last night when we talked about who you go after on waivers. But again, whoever you burned your fab on, for me, we'll know after this week. We'll have a much better idea. But the thought that Kareem Hunt couldn't beat out Jerome Ford for a job, and Samaje Perine was cut this summer. So as much as you want to talk about those guys, for me, I was excited to take that flyer and spend that fab on a higher upside lottery ticket. And I think there's going to be more opportunities for those earlier, but sometimes you just got to spend it. And I'm terrified. I have to start Carson Steele in a couple of leagues this week.
Oh my God.
Terrified. I'm terrified.
I'm scared.
I was able to pick up Steele and Pierce in a couple of my leagues, and I'm hoping they pop off so I can use potential trade bait here. So we'll see how it goes. But
Kareem
anyway,
Hunt
hey, May
on the practice squad. He's not on the active roster, which is different. So we'll see.
Hey, Mega Brick is in the house. Hey, Mega Brick. I believe we have a question here. Like Chance, I picked up Carr. Do I start Carr or Purdy this week? Well, interesting. That is a great segue into our. We're gonna get into it, and let's start getting into our start and sits this week. So let's start with that question before we jump into what we have. Chance, what's I'm going to give this one a chance. Let me pull the comment back up here. Chance seems to was like you picked up Carr. If you have Purdy, who are you starting? Do you want Carr or Purdy this week?
So for me, I lean Carr. Okay, and I lean Carr because of something that I said yesterday, where they play the Eagles, and it's so tough. They play the Eagles, and for me, the Rams are the most injured team in football right now. Like, the Rams are absolutely devastated. So if I'm looking at those two teams, obviously I think Brock Purdy can throw the ball against a depleted secondary, but are they going to need to? With as hurt as the Rams are, if Sean McVay can say, hey, I can and I will just run the ball on these guys, own possession, own the clock, and walk all over the Rams, I see that as a thing that Sean McVay could do. I also could see Brock Purdy and the Niners getting up early, and then there's no need for Brock Purdy to play hero ball. With Derek Carr, he's playing the Eagles, and the Eagles secondary is also not good, but their offense is good. So for me, give me the guy who's playing a bad secondary that's going to be in a shootout more likely. So that's why I lean Carr versus Purdy. But what do you guys think?
I mean, it leads right to our next segment. I mean, I'm just saying, but Matt can talk about his view.
Yeah, for sure. I do like Carr as well. He's got the hot hand as you proposed to, so I have no problems. However, if you've got that gut feeling, want to start Purdy, go ahead. I'm leaning Carr this week. Let's jump right into our sit 'em start 'em. So here's our three guys right out of the gate. I have Jared Goff. We're playing against. I really think this will be kind of a shootout, in my opinion. I believe Goff is he's probably not even ranked in your top 12. But if you need somebody, throw him out there. He's slinging the ball over the place. He'll be fine. He hasn't really done anything amazing so far in the first couple of weeks. But if you need him, feel free to roll him out there against this Cardinals defense, which is very suspect. Purdy, who I believe, Justin, you picked Purdy. I'll let you talk about your guy.
So Chance and Matt already kind of alluded to 2 points. So I feel like the Cardinals just got out ahead super fast. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe Purdy just goes out there and posts a perfect passer rating with a really good week. Again, beat up defense. My theme of this show is this is a week for a lot of teams to get right. I think Joe Burrow gets right this week with the Bengals offense. There's a few more that I'll talk about later on, but I think this might be the week that they get right here. Maybe I think they rely a little bit more on Ayuk and Kittle. Hopefully Debo comes back, but I don't think he's going to come back from the cap this week. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be that way. Kyler Murray shredded this team, and I think he only did it in two quarters, 2.5 quarters. It was fast. They killed them super fast. Again, I would go Purdy. I'm always worried with these quarterbacks that come out of the blue a little bit with Derek Carr. Is when is the floor going to drop out? And again, I don't want it to be against the Eagles. Chance has alluded to it. Maybe the Eagles get right with their secondary. I don't know. They should be a good defense. They have studs all over that defense. It's basically the 2020, 2022 Georgia defense. They should have guys all over the field, but it just doesn't work that great. They held the Falcons to 22 points. So we'll see. I like Purdy a lot this week, though.
Yep, Chance, you have Burrow against the Commanders.
Yeah, so a couple things that are interesting to me, right? So Joe Burrow, the reason why he seems like such a weird start-sit candidate for me is because it's Joe Burrow. But also, he's been bad these first 2 weeks. Not bad, but not what we wanted him to be. He's 1 week healthier. Joe Burrow in his first, can you guess his record in the first 2 games of his career for every year, right? So if you take his 5 years, those 10 games, those first 2 games, what do you think his record is?
3-7.
Matt, you got a guess?
Boy, it's not much different than Justin's.
He's 1-9. He is only one. He's hit those starting 2 games of every season in his career. He's 1-9. He's only won one. But then we know Joe Burrow figures it out, right? Joe Burrow figures it out. Mark Chase is going to figure it out. You're going to end up with. Here's another thing: the Washington Commanders. They are a bad. I don't want to call them a bad defense, but they're not good.
They're not good.
And they can be thrown on. Now, the other nice thing is they have offensive weapons, and they will score points. They're not a bad scoring team, but quarterbacks against them so far this year have averaged 233 yards a game. Okay, their opponents have scored 7 touchdowns on the Commanders. Those touchdowns, 1 was a rushing touchdown, 6 were passing touchdowns against them. So their secondary, not great. So if you're going to have a bounce back game for Joe Burrow, I think the Commanders are the biggest remedy to that. And I think especially his face as the Chiefs kicked that field goal and he saw that win slip out of their hands. The Bengals have to be as pissed as I am that the Chiefs lost. And if they're as mad as I am, they're going to come out with a vengeance. Don't even get me started on how much it hurts my heart to have to spend that much fab on a Chiefs running back, okay, that I dated, Carson Steele.
Yeah.
I didn't bring that up as rough. But I think Joe Burrow is a great start this week.
Yep, for sure. I think a sneaky one here just as a bonus, and he's played well. Just keep in mind, and nobody's talking about it, is Sam Darnold.
Say his name. Let's go. Say his name.
Just keep him in mind. That is a bonus guy for us to tackle. But let's move over to the sits this week. Here's our guy. So I'm going to start off with my guy, Caleb Williams. As much as I think he'll improve later, it's rough.
Yeah.
The Bears aren't doing him any justice. So go ahead and sit him this week. It's fine. And I think this Colts defense is atrocious. They can't stop the run forever. I think their safety's their leading tackler right now. But just sit him, see how things progress. As people start to get healthy again, maybe they get the O-line figured out. I will give Caleb Williams an A for effort because, man, he is sticking in the pocket and taking some shots and throwing some balls here. But that offense just doesn't look good right now. Put him on your bench and see how it goes. Moving over to my other guy that I like, AR5. Justin, this is your guy, and you want to sit him as well, and I probably don't disagree.
I feel like when we ever do start sits, I'm like, man, who in the top 5 can I just talk about and just like crap on it and say, yeah, you don't play him. Like, if you have AR5 on your team, you probably took him within the first 5 rounds, 6 rounds. So like, it's hard to bench those guys. Maybe you went to the waiver run like Chance did and got Derek Carr. Or maybe you start Purdy or one of these guys that you got late. Okay, the Bears defense is legit. They have one of the better secondaries, one of the better lines in the game. I think this game is a JT game. I just think JT went off last week. He went 12 for 102 yards. And
he didn't play in the fourth quarter. He did not play in the fourth quarter either.
Let him touch the ball 25 times, and good things will happen, I promise. It seems like at least the analytics are pointing to a lot more teams playing man defense. That's just what they're doing. They're saying, let's see how accurate you are. We're going to force you to make the play. Again, it's hard to play man against mobile quarterbacks. I don't know how much the Bears will do. Eberflus is a good defensive mind. He can do a lot of good things. I think this is a JT game, and I think they try to maybe get a few play action stuff. I think that's what you're betting on with AR. It feels like you're just betting on that Alex Pierce touchdown, but I don't know if he's going to get it against the secondary.
Yeah, agreed. Tough go for AR5. Hopefully he'll get better as the season goes on. Remember, he's still considered a rookie just because he didn't play very many games last year. But Chance, Stafford, I think we all agree on this one. Playing against that 49ers defense is going to be tough. Anything to add to that?
I just think that, so the reason I put Stafford on here, one, it feels like a real obvious thing, right? Like, he lost Cooper Kupp. They lost their left guard, Puka Nacua, 1, 2, 3 O-linemen.
Yep.
Sorry, 4 O-line, 5 O-linemen. They have literally nobody on offense. And it's tough right now in the streets, and it's something we haven't talked about enough. no quarterback, and I'm just looking as I'm trying to vet this stat. Okay, I don't think any quarterback has scored back-to-back 20-point weeks in fantasy football this year. Okay, usually it's like a lock that a quarterback scores 20 points. There are only 8 quarterbacks that average 20 points a game. That's not score 20 points a game. That's average. One of those is Josh. Oh my gosh,
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, who he averages 20 points a game, 20 and a half. One of those weeks was a 10-point week. You know what I mean? So, like, I know quarterbacks are hard right now, and it's easy to say, well, Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, they'll figure it out. Man, scoring's down. I would just steer clear of guys who don't have a football team around them.
For sure. Moving on to running backs. Here's our guy. Start these guys again. These are kind of lower. I'm starting Zach Moss this week. The Washington defense is atrocious. We are looking back for a bounce back for Cincinnati, which Chance alluded to with Burrow. And Moss has been the guy. I'm a little bit down on Brown. I thought Brown could be that guy. We were all hyping him up in the offseason. But Zach Moss has clearly been that guy, almost a 3-down back for them. He's going to get the workload. That offensive line is decent, especially for running. So he's going to get all the work. Don't be afraid to plug him in. I'm not saying he's your number one, but certainly a number two or maybe RB3. He's okay to put into your lineup this week. Justin, you alluded to Pollard with all the fab that went off, and you're starting him this week.
I am. I can't believe he went for that much. That's 40% of your budget in this league, which is, I thought Lamar would go for way more, but I should have put more down. So I think Spears doesn't play this game. I think Callahan is going to have a heart attack on the sideline one of these times with how many throws Levis just like randomly does. Like, it's like, what in the heck are you doing? Like, they played so good. It feels like the first 2 halves and then they kind of crap their pants. So I think they will rely on the run game. JT, again, to allude to AR, JT just rushed for 103 yards against this defense on 12 carries. Do I think Tony Pollard's anything close to JT? Absolutely not. But 12 carries, over averaging 10 yards a pop, I think Tony can average half of that. I think he can do something with that, especially with nobody else in the backfield challenging him. I think he's a really good start this week.
Yep, agreed. That Green Bay defense is good. But I think they're a little bit better against the pass and the run. So it's a good fit for Pollard this week, who is 100% getting all the work. Zeus. Now, Zeus is a guy we have not said to start for a while. I think we were all a little bit down on him. I think a lot of us are like, yeah. But Chance, you've got him in the start column this week. Why are we saying start him?
I have him in the start column because I need it. I need somebody to tell me to start Zamir White. And so I decided to put my big boy pants on and tell myself it's okay to start him this week. And then it makes it really easy that he's playing the Carolina Panthers. Okay. First thing with Zamir White, I just want to quote Antonio Pierce this is 2 days ago. Antonio Pierce said, our goal is to get 20 plus touches for him. It ain't Zamir. We got to start up front, man. The big boys up front got to block, bottom line. So Antonio Pierce still is high on Zamir White, okay? So he still says we got to get him 20 plus touches. And it's not Zamir's fault. It's the O-line's fault. When I have a coach who has hyped up a player all offseason and that player doesn't perform well and he still comes out and has Zamir White's back, I say, okay, that is enough for me. The other nice thing is they play the Panthers. Panthers against Alvin Kamara in week 1 gave up 83 yards and a touchdown. He had a really good game. Last week against the Chargers, J.K. Dobbins alone had 135 yards and a touchdown against them. So I think that they're easy to run on. To me, if there's going to be even a streamable week, a get-right week for Zamir White, I think it's this week. So with the coaches backing and their opponent, I think Zamir White's an easy stardom.
Yep, agreed. One other bonus guy to think about that could have made this stardom pick, Deontay Foreman with Cleveland, who seems to be the number one there in Cleveland, who's going against the New York Giants, which is a pretty soft defense. So put that one in your back pocket as well. moving on to our sit-ems here. I just said start Deontay because I really wanted Ford to be the guy, and he just doesn't seem to be the guy there with the Browns. And boy, we surely hyped him up in the offseason, but I'm okay sitting him. Keep him on your bench. Don't get rid of him, but hopefully there'll be better days for Ford. But as of right now, I'm going to leave him on my bench and kind of see how things play out. Moving on from there. So, Justin, James Conner is your guy.
James Conner, man. So they're playing the Lions, who I don't know how they lost that Bucs game, but anyways, they allowed 40 total rushing yards to the two backs to Tampa. The only reason they had more rushing yards is because Baker ran around a little bit. Kyron only had 50 yards, but also the Lions basically killed the Rams' entire roster that week. So this defense is really good on the run game. That addition of DJ Reader is huge. Ayla McNeil's a dude. Hutch is having a year. He's a scary dude off the edge. I think the Lions are going to be real physical in the run game, but they're gonna try to make Kyler pass the ball, I think. So I think they're just going to stuff the run. Those two big defensive tackles. Their D-line is phenomenal. And
Swift for the Bears, which I kind of like this week, but Chance, you're saying no, and I don't disagree. But
here's my thing. I think that the matchup is good. Like Swift does play the Colts, and I think if you're in a pinch, because we know RB is hard, there are going to be a ton of people listening to this podcast who say, I got nobody else. I got to start Swift. And you're going to start him and you're going to pray for him. Okay. But I do think that against this Indianapolis Colts offense, which has been real medium. Okay. And they also just lost Forrest Buckner. They lost their biggest pressure guy. I think that they're really going to try to get Caleb Williams going a little bit. And I know you had him as a sit. And this whole Bears offense to me right now is just a steer clear. Right. And that's so tough because they had three wide receivers we really liked in DJ Moore and Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze, and they have decent tight ends. And DeAndre Swift was the first running back to get signed in free agency. I just need to wait and see it. And honestly, my other sit was going to be Javonte because I don't trust any back outside of Brian Robinson that's behind a rookie quarterback right now because those offenses still that. I just need them to have time to figure it out before I can put that faith in these running backs.
I am one of those guys that's probably starting Deontay Swift because I have no other choice.
Yeah.
It feels like to me the Bears it's been Caleb Williams nonstop since they've drafted him. So everything's been around him. What can he do? What can we do? The Bears really need to get the running game going. In order to do that, you got to get those backs going. So you paid Swift. So it feels like let's start there.
Hey,
we'll see what happens.
I'm going to give our very few listeners this little tidbit. If you're in a deep league or you have bench space, go pick up Khalil Herbert. Go pick up the best running back on the Bears team. Okay. And Justin, I know you're a Roschon Johnson truther.
He's been a healthy scratch past 2 weeks.
Healthy scratch past 2 weeks. I having watched football with my eyeballs, I think Khalil Herbert is a really, really good running back.
And it's really more.
He fits their system more. It's just really hard to not run the guy you paid the money to. And eventually, I think the Bears are going to do the same thing the Panthers did. Hey, we got to play our best guys. If it's not Bryce Young, it's going to be somebody else. If it's not Swift, I think we might have to have a conversation about Khalil Herbert on waivers at some point. Now, I don't know. That's how I feel as a guy who's watched football. But to me, Swift, if you can sit him, I would this week.
For sure. As a bonus guide, so just temper your expectations with this guy because I think this Houston defense is pretty good. But Aaron Jones, right? Just you're starting him. Just temper your expectations. If you have somebody to be able to start over him, you certainly would. But Aaron Jones bonus sit here for us. Mm-hmm. Moving on to our wide receiver group, start them. For me, I mean, I'm just going to roll with the hot hand here. I'm just going to keep running with
these are your boys.
Yeah. I'm just going to, if I'm starting the quarterback, I might as well start one of the wide receivers too. So keep rolling with JMO. He seems to be doing well. Again, I think it's going to be a shootout. Both these offenses are pretty good. I know Detroit's defense is very solid, but man, keep running him out there. I believe he is, I'll tell you in just a second while we have him. Yeah, obviously he's a top 24 wide receiver this week, but I mean, keep him in there. Don't overthink it. Play JMO, and you'll be fine. Mr. Shaheed is a guy that has surprised a lot. I heard him talk on a podcast earlier this year, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to be more involved." And wow, he sure has with this high-flying Saints offense and all this motion. So, Justin, you got Mr. Shaheed.
Like, is Chris Olave still on this team? Does he still exist? Like, what is going on right now? Those big three guys, I feel like we talked about in the summer. Like, I'm just saying, Drake London might be having the best year so far. It's only been 2 weeks, but they all don't look very good. Which is
that whole draft class was bad.
Yeah. Ooh. So Shaheed, like, Chance has alluded to it. I feel like we're kind of crapping on the Eagles, but like if you go back and just watch the L22, like whenever we did play action, and Matt mentioned it too, Mooney got behind this defense probably 5 or 6 times, and like Kirk just did not look that way at all. He, like, those safeties are like they just creep up so slowly, and I like the Saints go under center 70% of the time, and they're gonna hit play action. They're gonna hit one of these guys deep. They're gonna hit Shaheed deep. One of these. He's averaging 24 yards a catch. That is ridiculous, and he gets 24% target share, which you love to see. Again, Chance mentioned the pressure rate of the Eagles not good. Maybe the Saints can go back a little bit. They're not a physical run team like the Falcons are. I think they're more finesse with their O-line. I think Shaheed could get 1 or 2 big ones in this game.
Agreed. Look, I dropped the Eagles defense. I thought they're going to be really good, and they just do not look good at all right now. Everything's going to be hinged on their offense until they get that figured out. But I like Shaheed play here. It's funny, even though he's been getting a lot of work, he's still the number 2 wide receiver there, which is, go play him. Our guy Pickens. Wow. All I can say is he is making things look ridiculously easy getting open. Chance, why don't you go ahead and talk about Pickens and your thoughts? This is a no-brainer.
Again, George Pickens to me is a guy that, like, 2 things. One, he's my start. We talked about this yesterday on the pod. I got comments in our on our video from people, from our watchers, that like Pickens kind of ate up against Pat Surtain. I mean, he only had 4 targets on the stat sheet, but there were 2 more that were called back by penalty. One was a 50-yard bomb that he absolutely wrangled over, that he just mossed Pat Surtain for. Okay, so if you count those 2, he had 6 really good targets in that game. He had 7 targets the game before. And Justin Fields is in line to start this next game. Justin Fields feels comfortable throwing the ball deep to George Pickens, and I think that this week, even against the Chargers, who I don't know how to feel about the Chargers defense. To me, they haven't played anyone that I'm like, oh yeah, that they have been a really good defense. I know it's a John Harbaugh defense, but I think that George Pickens they don't have a cornerback that will even sniff George Pickens for his talent level. If you can go buy George Pickens low this week, I would do it. I think he could be an absolute stud on a team. If you can flip Terry McLaurin for George Pickens, do it. Do it right now. Do you think that trade would go through?
Easy.
Do you think if you sent George Pickens, Terry McLaurin, it would go through? I don't know. I have Terry McLaurin, and I want to send him to the George Pickens owner, but I don't think it's enough because I've had Terry on my team for 2 weeks. You know, I'm like, take these scraps, please.
If you traded me Pickens for Drake London, I would do it right now. Right, Pickens will be a solid number 2. The rest, if you've got a good number 1, and you have Pickens, he will be an easy, solid number 2 wide receiver for you the rest of the year. So I love Pickens. I love him. He is right now unguardable. He is unguardable.
And there's no one. I mean, like, they have competent quarterback play. They have competent O-line play to give him time, and there's not a lot of other options. George Pickens can go get those balls, but Pat Freiermuth, Van Jefferson, Rome Wilson. I mean, there are guys that you just go, they're not on the same level as George Pickens, and he's going to demand those targets.
Yep. As a bonus guy for sure, Brandon Cooks. I think Dallas is going to be coming out with revenge. But their running game is not very good. They got to get the ball around. Brandon Cooks will be a guy that needs to step up. I think he'll be targeted more this week. So keep that in the your back pocket. Sit-ems this week. Look, I'm starting off until Jordan Love comes back. I'm avoiding all Packers wide receivers. I had the same one up last week. I'm not touching the wide receivers. It's just too iffy for me. If I can find other guys that I like better. The one sneaky thing is I probably would go out and try to acquire some of these wide receivers on the cheap right now because they're just not being utilized. Because we know Love's coming back, so go try to get him. That's another day for sure. Another topic for another day.
Love is practicing already.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
What? Crazy.
It's crazy. It'll be excited to bring him back in for the NFL just because we're not scoring a lot of points. But Justin, Devontae Adams, he was on our sit last week. We missed on that one. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to get him all right, but we got him
just
sit against the Panthers this week. Against the lowly Panthers, who made a couple quarterback changes. Why you got Adams this on your sit in week 3?
I'll be honest. I'm just following chances takes this week. I feel like I just think they're going to try to run the ball. I think they're just going to try to prove point against this Panthers defense. I think it gets out of hand quick. I think this game script gets away from him by the second half where they're not throwing the ball. That's just what I think is going to happen. Whether it's Zamir White or Madison or who's the other guy, Dylan Laub.
He's been a healthy scratch 2 weeks in a row, so
yeah.
I don't think they're getting the rookie involved yet. But it's Madison, Zamir White.
Brock Bowers is nasty. That's all I'm gonna say. I am regretting my decision not to draft him from number 4 overall in my dynasty league, but man, he is very good. So
nasty.
I just want to pivot off Devontae Adams. I feel like I felt like that for about a year, so I'm just gonna keep my take and I'm gonna go down with the ship.
Fair enough. McLaurin in this Cliff Kingsbury offense has kind of got me spooked too. You know, Cliff Kingsbury didn't do much for our Houston wide receiver stud back in the day, Arizona wide receiver back in the day. So it's like, I totally get it. It's a chance.
That's my thing, right? Whether it was Hollywood Brown when Cliff Kingsbury was there, who just they underutilized him with a good mobile quarterback. I think that the same goes with Terry McLaurin, and I have all the shares of Terry McLaurin. He was a guy that,
me too,
because I drafted first or 12th in all of my leagues, right? Like I was either the best or the worst in all my leagues last year. It just where I was able to draft. I have a lot of shares of Terry McLaurin, and I am terrified. He is scary Terry to play. He is scary to play Terry right now. And I just, against this Bengals offense or this Bengals defense that haven't been world beaters, but they played a good.
They got some dudes at the second.
They got some
that
dudes.
Interception by Cam Taylor-Britt was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, that one-hander. Oh,
yeah,
beautiful. And again, I continue to be reminded that I should not be excited about wide receivers for rookie quarterbacks. I should not be excited about wide receivers for rookie quarterbacks. I should not be excited about wide receivers for rookie quarterbacks. What happened with Nico Collins and Tank Dell last year and CJ Stroud, total anomaly. But we chase it. We chase it so hard. And we are feeling it with the Bears receivers. We're feeling it with the Broncos receivers. And we're feeling it with these receivers. And until Jaden Daniels feels comfortable in that system to continue to sling the ball, I'm going to sit. I feel like if you can sit him, do sit him.
Yep. Bonus guy here. Just keep in mind, we talked about, it's going to allude to my next one, but just Drake London going against Kansas City this week. Kind of tough. Be mindful. It's tough to sit him, but just
that game. We're gonna win. We're gonna win for chance.
I want it so bad. Let's go Falcons. Let's go Falcons.
Yeah, we'll root for him for sure. Just be careful. Hey, so our tight ends, right? Starting tight ends, which, man, tight ends of position has just been absolutely awful this year. It's what I don't understand is we talked about it early in the season. We said, hey, this might be the deepest tight end pool we've ever seen. And it's been nobody, maybe McBride. It's like unlikely. It's like,
Bowers.
This is crazy.
Bowers.
And Bowers for
Bowers.
2. Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 guys. But it has been just abysmal to tight end spot this year. So I'm going to go with Isaiah Likely. Again, I think this defense for Dallas is going to get after it. We talked about this yesterday. One of these teams is going to be either 0-3 or 1-2. And we're talking the Cowboys and the Ravens, which is just mind blowing. In order for the Ravens to win, I think they got to get Likely involved. They're going to spread the ball around a little bit against this defense. So I'm okay rolling him out there, and we'll see what happens. But our guy Gesicki, I think we all three like Gesicki. He has looked really, really good. Justin against the Washington Commanders. Why do you like Gesicki?
This was Justin's pick, okay? Justin and I, we flip-flopped. I've been the Gesicki truther, but Lineberry picked him for his start of the week.
He did.
Again, to piggyback on Chance, and like this is a get right game for the Bengals. And if T. Higgins is out, it felt like Gesicki took over that role, like Chance said last night. Commanders' defense is bad. I'll say it. I know Chance wanted to be nice, but they're bad. They're not a good defense, and you know what? That's okay. Like that helps for fantasy football. That's what we want to see. Some bad defense once in a while. He had a ton of targets. I don't remember how many targets he had, like 11 or something last week. It was ridiculous. First good tight end that Washington's going to see. Let's see how they play off it. Is Bobby Wagner still that guy? Frankie Louvu, I don't know. We'll see. That secondary is awful.
And Hunter Henry, getting a lot of targets, Mr. Hunter Henry, because he seems to be the wide receiver one in that offense. And Chance, so I see why you pick him. Why else do you like Hunter Henry this week?
So it was hard for me because I do think that the Jets defense is going to be good. And I think that Jacoby Brissett is going to be under pressure a lot this game. My biggest thing for why I would start Hunter Henry is, are the Jets going to put Sauce Gardner on Hunter Henry? You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's go.
Unless they identify him and they say, hey, our cornerbacks are going to cover the tight end and we're going to make them beat us with their actual wide receivers, Hunter Henry is going to remain in a position to gobble up targets, right? I think he's going to continue to be in a position to get targets from Jacoby Brissett. I think that this game is going to be froggy. Now, I was so bummed because I was so excited to come on this podcast and make a proclamation and have it heard here first. And then on another podcast I was listening to, they also brought this up and I was so mad. I think this is the game we see Drake May. I think
really?
There is for some reason, whether it's Brissett is struggling or I don't want it, but Brissett gets hurt. I just got a feeling that if Drake May were to make his Patriots appearance in all of its glory, it has to be to go out and beat the Jets. You know what I mean? It's gotta it's almost the fulfillment of a destiny. You know, the Jets, I've wanted to like them. I can't like them. They're the most cursed team of all time. What's a better Jets curse than to have the rookie quarterback come out to finish a drive to beat the Jets? I'm not saying I've seen it, but I've seen it. I've seen this before, you know? So if this happens, we're going to come back, and I hope our following list just blows up.
Laugh so hard.
At our premonitions. But I do think you can start Hunter Henry because he is, to me, the only viable passing weapon on this team. And it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be gross, but I think he's going to get targets that'll make him a starter. Startable.
Yeah. And if they do fall behind early, right, they're going to be throwing. So got to throw it to somebody.
Yep.
Moving on to our sit-ems, right?
Pitts
is my guy. I'm not saying Atlanta's going to get destroyed here. That's not what I'm saying.
It seems like it's tough.
It does. But I'm just cautious, man. I mean, they looked good. There were some good signs, but now we're going up. I mean, we're taking it up a notch here. So just be mindful. Yeah, you got to trust Kirk Cousins here a little bit. And that's fine. I just if I have somebody else, I'm probably I'm sitting them, right? I'll be honest, I'm probably starting Likely over Pitts this week.
Woo!
That's if I had them both. Just because I'm like, I don't trust it. I could be way wrong. They're really close in ranking, but to me, it's hard to. I mean, you may have drafted him really high and just said, hey, I got to roll him out. That's fine. But Pitts for me, I'm going to temper my expectations. Moving on to Justin, your guy, Mr. Goddard, playing the Saints this week.
Gosh, man, it feels like Goddard just disappeared. Put him on the milk carton right now. Just put him on there. We don't know where he's at. He's got 69 total yards receiving.
Nice.
69.
Nice.
50% target share. Guess how many targets he has? Targets.
Targets 7.
Yes.
3?
What'd you? 9.
9. I
Nine,
said I
yeah.
said 7. I figured.
Nice.
You were way closer.
It just feels like
I was
he's
going
forgotten.
super low.
I don't know if Kellen likes to feature the tight end that much. It doesn't feel like he did it in Dallas that much. I think Saquon has taken a little bit of that role away just because Saquon's a really good pass catcher. And they play Johnny Wilson a lot more than I thought they would. He gets a lot of like
He looks good.
red zone work. He's huge. Like he's a huge human being. I get it. It makes total sense. But like, it seemed like he was out there quite a bit against the Falcons. Whether that was blocking or playing out wide receiver, do block. Like he's a huge dude. He just disappeared. The Saints defense is legit. The only thing that I think could maybe help him this week is some garbage time. If the Saints are like, hey, here's another 40 burger. Like that's the only reason I think he could have a decent game, but man, he has disappeared.
Yeah, tough. Certainly okay if you sit him against that Saints defense was actually pretty good. But moving on, I'm intrigued with Laporta. A lot of people took him in the first round in some spots, Chance. And how do you not roll him out there? But I get it.
Here's why I think, and again, Sam Laporta, I have zero Sam Laporta shares because he went so high. And to me, the Sam Laporta problem has a Jameson Williams answer, right? I think that Jameson Williams has really come into his own. I think that the team trusts him, the coach trusts him, and Goff trusts Jameson Williams. And when we talked, I feel like there was this conversation about Jameson Williams at the start of the year, and people are like, well, how can he be relevant? Because Amon-Ra is going to get his, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get his, Sam Laporta is going to get his. Where is there room for Jameson Williams? And I feel like Jameson Williams has just taken that Sam Laporta target share. I mean, before it was Jameson Williams was getting, passes behind the line, for jet sweeps, or he was missing deep down the field bombs. That's not the case anymore. Jameson Williams he's catching passes, at the 10-yard line to move the sticks and intermediate routes right across the middle. Those passes that were going to Sam Laporta, they're not going to him because I think Jameson Williams is turned into the college prospect that we all I love Jameson Williams. So mad that I traded him away, that I gave up on him early. But to me, I think Sam Laporta is going to struggle. I think if you could trade Sam Laporta, I would consider it. I'm not saying do it.
For what? For what?
You could get so much for Sam Laporta. Go out on the waiver wire. Listen to us. Pick up a Gesicki. Pick up somebody on the waiver wire. I bet you could get a wide receiver 1 for Sam Laporta. I bet you could get Jameson Williams for Sam Laporta from somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Easy. So, listen, that might be jumping the gun. Okay, I was feeling myself there.
Nico for Sam Laporta? Nico?
I bet because of the scarcity of tight end and the name value of Sam Laporta, you could sell Sam Laporta and go get Nico Collins. And
You could easily get Garrett Wilson for Sam Laporta right now.
Absolutely. But again, listen, I don't want that to sound super panicky in week 2 when tight ends.
I wouldn't panic on him. Yes.
I wouldn't. But I am saying, I think that this appears to be a year where we don't know what tight end's going to be. We just don't. So go sell Sam Laporta to somebody for, I don't know, a good wide receiver or a medium tight end and a good wide receiver or a running back you need. It's something to consider. And I think this week will let us know how we should really feel about him.
I want to ask Chance a few questions. You guys, so
Okay.
Sam Laporta for Devonta Smith.
I'd do it.
Sam Laporta for Rashee Rice.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I think Rashee Rice is going to be a top 10 wide receiver this year.
Okay. Sam Laporta for Christian McCaffrey.
No, because the fantasy points that Sam Laporta is going to score over the next 2 or 3 weeks, still going to be more fantasy points than CMC is going to score.
I'm curious how low you go. Sam Laporta for Malik Neighbors.
I would keep Sam Laporta there. I would
Garrett
keep Sam.
Wilson.
So you're in that
Garrett-
Devontae Smith, in between the Devontae Smith Neighbors range. Okay.
Yeah,
Garrett
yeah,
Wilson.
yeah.
Garrett Wilson.
I think I'd keep Sam Laporta for Garrett Wilson, but
Me too.
that's only because I'm not a Garrett Wilson truther. I
I get it.
don't know, but that's probably my
So-
line.
Before we get crazy on it, though, so just to our viewers, don't overreact. It's early. It's only week
Trade him now!
2 right now. We're only to week 3. Don't panic sell. Stop panic selling on Laporta. He's going to be
Okay,
fine.
okay,
He
you're
did
right.
have.
You're
He
right.
did have. He had 3 targets week 1, 5 targets the next week, and they were in a shootout with Stafford in the group. Okay, give him a little bit of grace. Give him some time to settle. But yeah, I it's okay. You're a little bit. Everybody's panicked about the tight end. That's why I prefaced that early on. We have no. It's like it's crazy. It's like you could just throw a dart at a pool or draw a tight end of the hat, and you're gonna roughly get the same numbers anyway. So,
Yeah.
uh,
One more
just keep that in
question,
mind.
Dynasty wise. Bowers or Laporta?
Bowers.
Love Bowers.
Really? That
So-
quick?
Love Bowers.
Yeah. That's
Bowers.
crazy to me.
So I will tell you
I-
why. I will tell you why. In Dynasty, I would take Bowers over Laporta, because I can take Sam Laporta to the Bowers owner and I can say I will trade you Sam Laporta for Brock Bowers plus, and they'll do it. Sam Laporta was a good college player.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers was an elite player. He was an
Yeah.
elite player, and he has proven in 2 weeks he has shown production with Gardner Minshew.
I can't believe this right now. But
Okay, look.
Laporta's been an elite NFL player, though.
1 year. He has been a 1 year elite.
That's what I was
That's
just gonna
one,
say.
that's one more than Brock Bowers.
It is one more. Name me more weapons. Name me the weapons on the Raiders. Name me the weapons that they
Zeus,
have.
Zeus, your guy. Who's their quarterback? Is he good?
Gardner Minshew, who leads the league right now in pass attempts per game. Are you kidding me? Gardner
As of
Minshew,
right now,
the man.
yeah.
I'm
As of
taking-
right now, it's Justin. You have to admit, it's very plausible as of right now that Brock Bowers could outscore Laporta in this year's
This year.
fantasy football.
Yeah.
This year,
Okay.
Laporta had 10 touchdowns as a rookie. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
Yeah,
10
they have
touchdowns.
1,000 yards.
That's
Like,
insane. There's
that's
no
it's
way.
just-
So you
it's
knew
just
regression was
crazy
coming.
How
Yeah.
fast it has pivoted.
But everything
For sure.
pivots that fast, man. Remember
It
when
does,
Juju,
man.
So,
remember when
Look at
Juju
fantasy
Smith-Schuster
football.
was the #1 dynasty pickup all
yeah,
time?
that's it.
He
What
was-
about Kincaid?
Would I trade Sam Laporta for Dalton Kincaid?
Who would you rather have? Kincaid
I would
or-
rather have Kincaid right now.
Kincaid or Bowers.
I would rather have Bowers right now.
As of
number
right
one
now,
guy.
yeah.
But Bowers is the #1 guy.
It's close.
No, Bowers is number 2
I
Who?
behind McBride.
think
okay.
I mean McBride is right up there. I just when it comes to those tight end positions and the way we're seeing football at least change for this year and next year, right? I think this cover shell or whatever you guys call it that's going on, and we're seeing a shift in passing in the NFL. To me, I think we're going to feel this shift in our tight ends for the next little bit, because
Very possible.
the passing isn't going to be as prolific as offenses figure this out. And so give me a tight end on a bad team that has fewer mouths to feed than a tight end on a high-powered offense that already has a bunch of guys, because quarterbacks are only going to pass so much. And so if Sam Laporta falls behind Raw, Gibbs, and Jamison Williams, like that's a bummer. I don't think Kincaid's going to fall behind Coleman or Shaquille.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
think
Who else is there?
So when
So, Chance,
when-
I will add to that. I don't think it necessarily has to be a non-high power offense versus a power offense. So think of Travis Kelce. That offense was very much a high flying. It's just the talent around him. So Kelce got all this stuff, had no receivers. Now they're bringing receivers in. Laporta's in that boat. You got Amon-Ra and now JMO playing well. He now becomes that third option, where last year he truly was the second option.
Or fourth.
So I agree with you. Or could be even fourth
I
this
mean,
year.
Gibbs is
I-
going to get his.
so
he will
so
get
when
his for sure.
when Colson Loveland comes in and gets drafted inevitably by the Chargers,
Mhm.
and he just pops off the first 2 weeks, and Brock Bowers has this same situation, Is Colson going to be number one?
I think Brock
See,
Bowers is
that's way too out there. Do we want Colston to be there? Yes, we do. We'd love to
He's
see
gonna be
Colston
dog.
pop off.
He's going to be. He's going to be dog.
It just depends. I think again,
He's gonna
as
be a
Chance said, everything ebbs and flows, and we roll with stuff. You just gotta like, okay, right now is Brock Bowers is the man. Could
Brock
things
Bowers is
change
dog.
in 3 weeks? Yep,
He's a dog.
very much
He's a
so.
dog. He's a dog.
I'm not as panicked on Sam Laporta as I am Travis Kelce. I think
Yeah.
Travis Kelce is in big trouble.
If you can,
I think Travis Kelce owners are in big trouble.
if there
Get
is
rid of
one
him.
guy that I'd like get rid of while you can, it's probably him.
Let him pop off one time and then try to sell high, get what you can for him. So
He's not even the leader in receptions at the tight end position for his team.
no,
And he's going to be really good for them in January. That's what it's going to be. But ain't nobody playing a fantasy game in January.
yeah. And again, we have to always differentiate real world from fantasy world, right? And you're right, Chance. So for fantasy owners, it's kind of tough. Doesn't mean we dislike Travis Kelce in any such way. It's just mean we don't like him for fantasy football. So
I don't like him anyway. I don't like him at all.
There we go. There it is. That's what we need to do.
well, gosh, that's our start sits for the night. Any final words, Justin, before we shove off for the evening?
The Falcons are going to win this week.
There you go, Chance.
Hey man, as excited as I am for this football weekend, there are some great college games this weekend. If you love football, go watch some college ball this weekend. I'm hyped. Utah, Okie State. Oh, let's go. Love me a
Ollie
good
Gordon,
good one.
baby. Ollie Gordon.
I'm
Good he's got.
Okie State all day.
I will leave everybody with this. It's only week 2. We're moving to week 3. Stay patient. Stay patient. It's easy to get. Let your emotions take over. Stay patient. Keep tuning in, listening to us. We'll guide you through it so you'll win your championships. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our stuff. We want you to win your fantasy football league. Justin, Chance, thank you guys tonight, and we will see you guys next week. Good luck in week 3.